You're listening to the Health and Happiness Podcast with Travis Kemper and
Lauren Maxwell. Each episode, we share easy-to-implement strategies to improve your health, happiness, and overall quality of life. The more grateful I am, the more beauty I see. Mary Davis. How's it going, Travis? What have you been up to this last week?
It's going well. Working on my basement. Still trying to decrease my hours to part-time at work. But
how's that going?
Well, I'm still not part-time yet,
boo.
Kind of. Yeah, I'm working on it. I got to lifting with the kids 3 times this week, and we start 7-on-7 games this Wednesday, which will be fun.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's great.
What's going on in your world?
My world has been a lot of dog stuff. I got to meet one of my best friends' new little puppy, Cash. He's an Australian Shepherd, and I think he's about like 5 months old, maybe, question mark, or younger than that. I don't know. He's super cute. He's a little fluff ball, and probably, my dog is wild. She's always been wild. So this dog in comparison is a very well-behaved little puppy.
No, really?
He's so good. And I'm like, oh man. Oof.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, compared to where Keely was at that age, like she was a wild child at that age. So
Duke's still wild.
I mean, so is she, but she's gotten a lot better since she was that age. But holy cow, as a 5-month-old, Keely was a handful.
We didn't have Duke at 5 months. So I don't know. But,
maybe he was wild like Keely.
Sometimes he's still a handful.
Yeah.
It's more like 2 arms full as I tackle him.
That's sometimes how I would describe Keely too. I feel like they would be best friends. They would just have the same amount of energy that they could meet each other with.
Maybe. Duke's pretty good with other dogs, so probably.
Yeah, Keely's pretty good with other dogs too.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, especially if they're like not teeny tiny little dogs. So.
Yeah, Sable didn't used to like those teeny tiny little dogs either.
They're scary.
It was actually more like they would come up and get in her face, and then she would think they wanted to play like a big dog, and then they would run away, which is her favorite game.
Oh no!
Her favorite game was chase, so she would run after them, but they could only outlast her for about 20 feet, and then she would get on top of them, and then they started squeaking. They sounded like squeak toys.
Which is probably even more exciting.
Yeah, so we got scared that she was going to kill a little dog. Somehow Duke just got into my room.
Oh, hi, Duke.
Yeah, so there he is.
Hi, beautiful. Duke. He is. He's a handsome boy. Other than that, I did some more swimming with Keely. Just trying to get her like to the point where I'm very comfortable with her in the water, I guess, is the goal, because she seems comfortable. I'm just trying to make sure she's not going to like swim so far that she gets tired and then can't come back. The other exciting thing that happened this week is we started our gymnastics summer group for work, and it was super chaotic and super, super fun. So what are we going to talk about today, Travis?
Well, I know you've been waiting for this one for, I don't know, how long have we been doing this? 6 months. Holy cow, we've been doing this for 6 months.
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember we recorded our first one on January 1st. Anyway, so gratitude. So,
yay!
How about first you describe what is gratitude?
That's a good idea. So gratitude, based off of a definition that we found on the internet, is the appreciation of what is valuable and meaningful to oneself. It is a general state of thankfulness and or appreciation. Travis also found this really cool like summary of gratitude that is like conceptualized as morally relevant. So it defines 3 functions of gratitude. The first being a moral barometer function. So it's a response to the perception that you have been the beneficiary of another's moral actions. The second function is as a moral motive function, where gratitude motivates the grateful person to become more prosocial toward the benefactor and other people. And the third function is as a moral reinforcer function. When gratitude is expressed, it encourages benefactors to behave morally in the future. Multiple functions of gratitude.
Multiple studies on gratitude too. In general, gratitude is seen as a positive emotion, positive practice within psychological well-being, and it enhances a sense of personal well-being. Breaking down a couple studies that we found, we got one here that participants were divided into 3 groups. One was asked to journal about negative events or hassles. I can only guess how that one went. A second group was asked to journal about the things that they were grateful for, and a third group was asked to journal about neutral life events, and they were required to journal either daily or weekly. Across the various study conditions, the gratitude subsample consistently evidenced higher well-being in comparison with the other 2 study groups. Not a huge surprise there.
Not a huge surprise.
But it kind of, not at all. But it kind of demonstrates not only the effectiveness of gratitude, because it was better than a neutral group and a negative group, but also the potential benefits of journaling. Yes. And how powerful that can be. Yes. To improve your self-reported well-being. Another one was a little different. Put people in one of 2 exercises, one that would supposedly boost happiness, and another that consisted of cognitive exercises. To equalize the expectations of participants, the students were informed that participation in either group was likely to increase their overall sense of well-being. That way, one group didn't get the placebo effect and the other group not.
Yeah.
So the happiness paradigm required participants to either write about their best possible future selves, optimism exercise, or write letters of gratitude, which would be obviously a gratitude exercise. In contrast, the control paradigm, participants were required to write about the events of the past week, not asked to focus on anything negative, positive, or whatever, just write about the past week. And as predicted, compared with the control group, the happiness paradigm group, both groups demonstrated increases in well-being. Lauren, does gratitude actually affect your brain?
Well, studies are actually showing that yes, it does, which is really cool. We found a couple of studies, one that was so hard for me to articulate in words that I'm not going to talk about it because I tried probably a couple times to Travis and it just, I couldn't. Well, anyway, so we did find one study that was very understandable by me. This study used an SMRI, which is a structural MRI, to examine the relationship between parts of the brain, the regional gray matter and white matter in the medial prefrontal cortex, and its relationship to gratitude, and then further explored how that gratitude related brain structure are related to life satisfaction. And they did this in 136 young healthy adults. So what they found was that gratitude was associated with smaller regional gray and white matter volume in the medial prefrontal cortex, and that these particular structural variations related to gratitude also significantly predicted life satisfaction. So all of those big words to say, yes, there is a relationship between gratitude and your brain and how like structures in your brain are activating and lighting up. And then that itself is related to higher life satisfaction.
Yeah, that's good. Also, yay. Studies on gratitude and prosocial behavior, which we've talked about a little bit because of Disney. We talked about the prosocial behavior. So prosocial behavior is helping a friend, helping a stranger, anything that basically anybody would admire. Yeah, helping somebody else selflessly. So a couple studies that looked at that found that the ability of the emotion gratitude to shape costly prosocial behavior was examined in the 3 studies and demonstrated that gratitude increased efforts to assist a benefactor even when such efforts are costly. In other words, if it was going to in some way negatively affect me to help Lauren, if I practiced gratitude, I would most likely, or I would be more likely to help Lauren, even if it was damaging to me personally.
Oh.
I didn't say that that was going to work. That's what they found. They did not study me.
Oh, okay.
They also found that mediational analyses revealed that gratitude, as opposed to simple awareness of reciprocity norms, drove helping behavior. So again, the prosocial behavior. Another study replicated the findings of that study that we just talked about, and also demonstrated gratitude's ability to function as an incidental emotion by showing it can increase assistance provided to strangers.
So again, helping strangers, helping friends, helping people you know, helping strangers.
Yeah. And another study revealed that this incidental effect dissipates if one is made aware of the true cause of the emotional state, which is weird. So if you have self-awareness to know that it's the gratitude that you are expressing, you might not help strangers. That's what they found. That is very weird.
I thought that, unexpected little.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed on that one.
I wouldn't have guessed on that one either. So in our last section of research, we're going to talk about how gratitude is related to happiness, which makes total sense for our podcast called Health and Happiness Podcast. So in one study, they asked participants to write a few sentences each week, focusing on particular topics. This goes back to like the journaling stuff that Travis was talking about in a previous research study. So one group wrote about things they were grateful for that had occurred during the week. A second group wrote about daily irritations or things that had displeased them. Again, like, wonder how that'll turn out. And the third wrote about events that had affected them with no emphasis on being positive or negative. After 10 weeks, those who wrote about gratitude were more optimistic and felt better about their lives. And they also exercised more and had fewer visits to physicians than those who had focused on sources of aggravation, which is awesome. I'm not really sure how they tracked that information because maybe I didn't look at it close enough, but that's a really cool, powerful example of how gratitude can not only affect your happiness and well-being, but your health as well.
Yeah. I mean, if you can affect your happiness positively, you're going to affect your health positively. Yeah.
Another study tested the impact of various positive psychology interventions on 411 people, each compared with a control assignment about writing early memories. So this, I think, was in a class, like the whole class was every week they had an assignment or something. So when their week's assignment was to write and personally deliver a letter of gratitude to someone who had never been properly thanked for his or her kindness, participants immediately exhibited a huge increase in happiness scores. This impact was greater than that from any other intervention, and the benefits lasted for a month from writing a letter to somebody to thank them. Yeah.
I have to remember that one.
I know. Isn't that so cool? I love that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a really good one. Other studies have looked at how gratitude can improve relationships. So for example, a couple of studies, or a study of couples, a study of couples found that individuals who took time to express gratitude for their partner not only felt more positive toward the other person, but also felt more comfortable expressing concerns about their relationship, which I think makes total sense. I can vouch for that in my own relationship. Like, that's one of the things I think we've been really intentional about with me and my husband is like taking the time to like acknowledge what we're grateful for. So like, I don't know, like once a day at least I'll go up to him and be like, I'm so grateful that you do this, or I appreciate you doing this, or I've noticed that you've done this and I wanted to thank you for it, or whatever. That's just like part of how our relationship functions. We didn't always used to do that. And once we started doing that, I don't know, like it just feels good to be appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, conclusion, I mean, it's pretty simple on this one. It sounds like there's sufficient evidence that you should probably try and practice gratitude if you want to be happier and or healthier, at least in our opinions. So, Lauren, how in the world can one cultivate gratitude in their lives?
Well, I think pulling from this last research article that we talked about, writing a thank you note is a great way to make yourself happier and even nurture your relationship with another person by expressing your appreciation and your thanks of that person's impact on your life. And I personally love this one because I love writing thank you letters. So this is just a fun one. If you like writing and if you want to just make somebody's day, it's just like write them a letter of gratitude, or write yourself one maybe for like a time in the future where you want to thank yourself for doing something hard,
for achieving your goal of losing weight or whatever it is.
Yeah,
that's good idea. And yes, you're very good at that one. If maybe you're embarrassed to send somebody a thank you note, which is probably not that uncommon, especially among the males in the room, maybe just thank them mentally. So maybe just meditate and send a thank you note to somebody in your head.
Yeah.
But you don't actually have to say the words out loud or write them down because you may be embarrassed. Because you're a man and we're not in touch with our feelings.
Or even like, I mean, writing a thank you note can like sound like really long and wordy. Like if you don't want to do something like that, like literally just send a text message and be like, hey, thanks for being you. Like doesn't have to be long and wordy.
I did that to you once or twice, a voice message.
Yeah, you have, which like they're saved on my phone. I have not deleted them because when I have a bad day, I'll like go and listen to that and be like, oh, I feel better. Like those things make a difference.
Maybe I should do that more often.
It was very nice. It was very unexpected and very sweet. Another idea is keeping a gratitude journal, making it a habit to write down or, you know, share those thoughts in a journal or even with somebody else about things that you're grateful for. I have a gratitude journal that I should be better at writing in.
But I used to write a gratitude journal too, darn it. I need to start that again.
I know.
That's one that I've fallen off the wagon with, whatever you want to say. And another one that I should do more often again is in my favorite meditation, they have a 3-minute period of gratitude. I do a Tony Robbins priming meditation.
Oh, cool.
Google it, it'll pop right up. I stopped listening to it because YouTube started putting advertisements in the middle of it, and there is nothing less relaxing than getting a Ford advertisement in the middle of your meditation. So I need to find a way to get that without it. But in that meditation, Tony Robbins does like 3 minutes. Well, it's his 3 minutes, which is not real 3 minutes. It's just whatever time he goes for. Sometimes it's 8 minutes, but he does a 3-minute period of gratitude. That's a good one.
That's really cool. Yeah,
it's a really good meditation. I really wish YouTube wouldn't have ruined it.
Yeah, no, come on, YouTube.
I know. Nobody cares about your advertisements.
Nobody cares. Oh, hello, horn honking. Our last suggestion is pray. For people who like to pray or find themselves called to pray and prayer. Use prayer to cultivate gratitude. It's a great way to express your gratitude.
I've been doing that for like 15 to 20 years every night.
That's
I say
awesome.
thank you. And I say hi to my grandparents.
Oh.
Yeah. And Sable.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. Anyway, so assignment, whatever we call it, challenge. I keep calling it assignment.
We don't want to make it homework. We just want to make it exciting for you to participate.
We've only been out of school 4 years. I'm still in assignment mode.
I understand.
So a challenge this week would be to do any one of those things and then see how you feel. And if you feel better, maybe start making it more regular that you do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that sometimes, like, whenever I've started gratitude journals, like, it can feel really awkward for me. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but sometimes it feels really awkward at first, but like, take your time with it and keep going through it. Like, it feels less awkward the more that you do it, and it becomes more of like, it's just an inherent thing to like give thanks for something that you're grateful for. So
for me, it became a little bit of I'm going to shortcut my way through this and write the same thing. So then I started doing it where I had to write 3 things that I was grateful for from today.
That's a good way to do it.
So specific things that I was grateful for. Yeah. And that was more powerful for me because it made me actually use my brain.
Sit and think about, what you're actually grateful for. Yeah. I like it.
Well, this was fun.
This was fun.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week with an episode on, Lauren, what are we talking about?
Living a life that you'll be happy to die for.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to listen to this episode of the Health and Happiness Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode and are getting benefits from our content.
If your life is improving in part due to the information in this podcast, we would greatly appreciate you sharing the episode with your family and friends on social media and leaving us a review so we can continue to reach more people and improve the health and happiness of the community at large.
Thanks again, and we will see you next week for another episode of the Health and Happiness Podcast.